Attention, all you fishes in the sea. Welcome to the Fisch Bowl with Sam Fisch.
Sam Fisch, the Fisch Bowl here at Horror Realm Con 2026 with one of my all-time favorite childhood hero filmmakers, Tommy Lee Wallace.
Howdy.
Thank
How
you.
doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to swim in the Fisch Bowl with me.
Okay.
I hope the temperature's just right. Excellent.
Just great.
Excellent. First off, huge fan. Halloween 3, one of at least my favorite in the franchise.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think Michael Myers is great, but I think the tone and storyline of Halloween 3 was a little, it's like deeper rooted. And
Well, it's funny. The Halloween, I'm immensely proud of Halloween, and I had a lot to do with its success. But Halloween was originally called the Babysitter Murders.
mm-hmm.
And really, when you get down to it, it's not that much about Halloween.
Right.
Whereas Halloween 3 is all about Halloween.
Exactly. And not to mention the great Tom Atkins,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh local.
Yeah. Local boy makes good.
Yeah. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Tom a good while back, and we had a discussion about Halloween 3 and some of the other films, Escape from New York and The Fog. And
Fine actor, good man.
Absolutely. And I think his role in Halloween 3 really is part of the reason. And was it Dan
O'Hurley.
Yes. His character. And also, spoiler alert, I love the concept of having Stonehenge.
Yeah.
It's
a little far-fetched, but hey,
right.
So,
I'm. It probably goes with the territory with being a horror fan, but I'm also very much into like urban legends and Bigfoot, aliens, all that stuff.
Sure.
When I saw that the first time, one, I was absolutely terrified. So you did your job.
Good.
Yeah.
That was what we were supposed to do.
But then I would rewatch it, and then I'd really look at the story and the concept, and really, it's a phenomenal film. I think it stands on its own, but also can be part of the collective. And I would love to see, as much as they've been remaking Michael Myers movies, I think the one pivotal story point is to do a sequel to Halloween 3 if they ever did one.
I've been shown a couple of scripts, and to me, that's a hard movie to work out. I've given it a little thought. I can't solve that problem. It's fun to think about, but
right.
I personally wouldn't be a good writer for that movie. I just can't think of what that would do and how it would be. It would be challenging.
I could see sort of like if they fast forward the present day, and it was like kind of with like John's later films where it was like end of the world sort of scenario. You could do kind of something with kind of like how In the Mouth of Madness ended, where you could have like a dark, exactly how Halloween 3 ended. Were they able to stop the jingle from turning, the children into, stuff?
And of course, that's the beauty of any fiction like that. Your audience can draw its own conclusions.
Right.
Some people think it's the utter apocalypse. I have my own opinion. It was a fiendish plot, but did they get that last channel off or not? That's a nice question. Suppose that killed off a few million kids.
Right.
That's not the end of the world.
Right.
It put a big scar especially in the USA.
Right.
But did it kill off everybody? I would probably be more interested in the psychological impact of having such a disaster and what it meant.
Mm-hmm.
But that becomes kind of a political film to me. That takes you in that direction. It's no longer a horror movie.
Right.
Unless Connell Cochran comes back and, hey, sorry, but Dan O'Hurley, he's dead.
Right. Unfortunately, another fantastic sequel that I am fiendishly in love with is Fright Night Part 2.
Thank you. It is, everybody watch for it. This spring, we're getting a 4K. At long last, it will be visually represented for the really good-looking movie that it was, thanks to Mark Irwin and Dean Cheddar, the DP and the production designer, respectively. A pretty movie, a good-looking movie, widescreen. So I'm excited about this coming release.
Oh,
Lots of goodies,
thrilled.
commentary. I think the package will be nice.
Awesome. Was there any what was the origins for Fright Night Part 2 and the additions to not just the ghoul and the vampire, but you also had the werewolf and additional monsters put in, which I think also adds to the flavor of the film.
The idea of a sequel to Fright Night came up, and at that point, I had not seen the original, so I watched it right away. As soon as it became clear that I was a candidate for the gig, and I just loved it. I thought it was original and fun, and Fright Night, it sits on that little fence between horror and comedy, which is so hard to do. You can do a comedy that has horror elements, or you can do a horror movie that has a sense of humor, but to really land it right in between the two is a hat trick. And so I admired Tom Holland's idea and the work that they did. I loved the idea that they were bending all kinds of rules about vampires and whatever else. Vampires turning into this stuff, these untold monsters. So I really carried that ball to its limit. I thought, okay, if that's it, when this fabulous long-lost sister comes along, exotic in the guise of performance artist, I thought that was a pretty good, neat idea. That is, hiding in plain sight. I'm a vampire, but everybody thinks this is performance art.
Right.
I thought she needs a posse, and so we can have a lot of fun with just what are these things,
Right.
Boz, for example, the driver, is like, what form of monster is he? So I thought that all worked out very well. The Magnificent Four, you might say, when they're revealed, the elevator reveal, or door opens, and there's Charlie sitting there looking at these rock star kind of people.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, that's cool. So we had a lot of fun with that.
Awesome. One of my favorites of all time. Another one I have to talk about and throw in there is in my opinion, the one and only original It.
Yes, thank you. I think the secret weapon of It, my version, was the casting. I mean, not only we had great TV stars, good actors, but we cast very carefully for the children. And I believe that those children grew up to be those grown-ups. I think that's not an easy thing to pull off.
Right.
And if the heart of that movie, special effects, for me, neither here nor there. They were fun, and some of them gave off a sense of like an old 50s movie, which I really, to be honest, was accidental. It's just a matter of budget limitation. But I thought it worked for the movie. But I think the secret weapon and really what's going on with Stephen King a lot of the time, it's not the gore, it's not the horror, it's the children, it's childhood, it's the rite of passage, it's secrets told, bonds formed, getting through hard times together. That really touches the heart, and I think Stephen King is very, very good at that. And that's where I think we really hit it out of the park, was in that part of the story.
Absolutely. And I have to ask this question. What was Tim Curry's audition process like?
There was no audition. All of the adult actors that was telephone casting, just sitting around with the producers. house numbering who we'd like in the part and saying, wow, you think we could get Tim Curry? Well, call his agent. Let's see. We can get him. Okay. The adult casting for that movie was effortless. No auditions required.
Wow. Amazing. And Curry's performance, I mean, I have to tell you this. I had, because of it and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I have what has become recurring killer clown
phobia.
Recurring phobia, killer clown dreams.
We pretty much ruined clowns for a lot of people.
and also, I have to say, Tim Curry's Pennywise is so much scarier, so much more diabolical than the Bill Skarsgård one.
It's interesting because I think Tim had the ability to be charming and friendly, and I believe that kids would be drawn in. The Skarsgård look was artful and clever, but he looked too scary. I couldn't buy that any kid would go near that creature.
Right.
He's just too scary looking.
And another thing I'll say is your version of it, the original version, in my opinion, the one and only version.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It from the book, Pennywise is supposed to be more of like a cosmic, monster.
Right. He's an entity of
like an interdimensional monster. Whatever. And I thought your version of it really encompassed that, and also like held such potential to like go beyond the miniseries. And I think the newer whether it's production, producer, studio interference or whatever, I feel from especially the part 2 that their Skarsgård's version of Pennywise is more like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And it totally loses that, what I think is a much scarier kind of concept.
There's only one Tim Curry.
Yes.
I'll tell you a story. He, as soon as we knew Tim was going to do the part, we went to work on some sketches and visualization for what he was going to look like. And the whole, based roughly on the Bozo the Clown, coming from that end of the clown spectrum. We designed a bulbous forehead, these very sharp cheekbones, a chin piece that extended his face. And when Tim actually came in, he really objected to that stuff because, actually he'd done Creature. Was it Creature? What did he do he was covered in
Legend.
Sorry.
Legend,
yes,
yeah.
Legend.
Darkness.
He was covered in rubber, and he was so sick of it that he started campaigning to not have all of that apparatus. And I got him to agree to try it once, and it looked pretty awesome, but it was like, he was right. We removed the chin piece, we removed the cheekbones. I insisted he keep the big bulbous forehead. But the fact is, his own face was more than enough.
Right.
His acting ability, and especially in that regard, in white face, almost a mime troupe sort of of approach to the part. He just brought so much to it. He would do the script as I asked him to, and then I would let him take off, improv, and he just always delivered something original. And that hat trick of something original and scary and macabre, but also funny.
Yes.
Not just anybody can pull that off. So kudos to Tim. And I want to tell you, everybody knows Tim had a terrible stroke.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But he is hanging in there and getting actually better, improving. His health is improving as of this date anyway. So this is for Tim.
Thank you, Tim, for your amazingly terrifying performance. You have instilled clown nightmares for me that'll
never go away.
Never go away.
Yeah.
It's infinite. It's there forever. And I just also have to say, there's only been 2 movies to really, like, the first time I watched them, I couldn't make it the whole way through.
Really?
And that was You're It, and the first time I saw Kubrick's The Shining.
Oh, The Shining didn't do much for me. I thought a much scarier movie was the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Great film.
Which is my all-time favorite horror movie. And actually kind of ties to Halloween 3.
I can see that.
It's a lot of a tribute to the original Invasion and an homage, in a way, to Don Siegel, the director, because they forced a bookend ending on the original Invasion that softened it for people. It was supposed to end with Kevin McCarthy saying, "You're next, right in the camera. That was supposed to be the dead cut ending, and they made him bookend structure into the thing where, oh, he's on the phone and it's going to be all right, and then lets the audience off the hook.
Right.
Oh, shit. I hate that. So that our ending for Halloween 3, Tommy Atkins, stop it. That's absolute direct tribute. Righting a wrong, if you ask me. Let's get that dead ending.
Exactly.
And we got pressure to soften that also. And John left me with the final say on it, which was a great privilege. John was behind the scenes. He was the producer, one of the producers.
Mm-hmm.
And he had final cut, and he just gave it to me. So talk about a privilege for a first-time director.
Exactly.
He said, they want us to change the ending. He said, but I'm going to leave it to you. What do you want to do? And I said, I thought about it for maybe 8 seconds, and I went, nah, let's leave it the way it is. And he said, you got it.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, all my guppies in the sea. You heard it first from Tommy Lee Wallace himself.
It's in the book. I wrote a book about this. H3, the subtitle of which is, Where the Hell is Michael Myers?
Fantastic. Or fantastic, I should say.
Yeah, okay.
Tommy, thank you so much for taking the time to swim the bowl with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Childhood bucket list, I could knock off there. So
that's nice.
I'm a huge fan. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. Sam Fisch, the Fisch Bowl here at Horror Realm Con 2026 with Michael Myers himself, Don Shanks.
From number 5.
Number 5, right. Thank you for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Halloween since we're at a horror convention.
Okay.
Obviously, a lot of physical demands come with those types of roles. What would you say your overall experience was working on Halloween 5, and what were some of the difficulties, constraints, any special stories with the cast, anything like that?
Well, I mean, it pretty much is what I figured it was going to be. Okay. The mask is difficult because you can't see out of it very well. So a lot of you have to take into consideration, you got to do this, that, for safety reasons, but it was a lot of fun to do, It was very physical, but that's what I do.
Yeah. One of my favorites in the franchise. It's like I considered 1 and 2, like obviously part 1, part 2. 3 is, stands on its own. And then 4 and 5 was essentially another part 1, part 2.
Uh-huh.
Did you get to work with Donald Pleasance at all?
Oh, yeah.
Any stories about Donald or anything?
Well, he was very much the gentleman, right? We're doing the scene on the staircase, and I mean, I literally was being mesmerized by what he was saying to me. It's like kind of go and then snap back into it. He was just a very consummate actor. We were doing the scene where I wrecked the car. I'm chasing him with the car and whatnot, and he has a scene after that, and they had wrapped me. And he came to my dressing room and he knocked and he said, "Could I ask a favor of you?" And I go, "Yeah, okay." And he goes, "Would you mind being just standing out there so I know that you're there. I go, yeah, okay. He goes, you don't have to do anything. Just need to know that you're there. I go, okay. So I start putting the wardrobe on. He goes, well, you don't have to do that. I go, no, it's fine. But I mean, he was just so polite and so, could you do this for me? And I'm happy to.
Awesome. Donald was in so many fantastic roles.
Oh, yeah.
So many great films.
Well, Peter O'Toole, this is one of his stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he was offered a Parandello play. And he said, well, I really appreciate you asking me, but I think the only person who could play this part is Donald Pleasence. He goes, in my opinion, he's the finest actor in England. And, he, very understated, very slow, but then he could build it in such a way, that you just start listening to him, then he comes back at you.
Exactly.
But he was very, very good actor.
Any stories with Danielle Harris or?
Well, she was she was like my buddy. We're working all night and stuff, and she's trying to keep her energy up, and we just had a great time. The little scene in the laundry chute, that was kind of a hit and miss type of thing. We had to work it out. She had a stunt double, but she wanted to do it. And she did an excellent job.
Awesome. Were you familiar with any like the prior installments, or was it?
Well, I had seen 1 and 2, and I saw 3, and 4 hadn't come out when we were shooting 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them if they wanted me to go see it, and Dominic goes, "No, I want you to bring what you're going to bring."
I can see that because it's just like with Jason. You can see each actor's performance of Jason and Myers.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's what makes those films in each installment so unique. Is that like you get Michael's the same, but it's not just like the actor's different. It's like the physical demands, the body movements. It's like each person who encompasses those characters makes it their own.
Well, they're going to have certain characteristics. There's certain physical things that you do. I mean, when I double somebody, I was telling this earlier, that I'll watch them from afar. And it's like, okay, do they put their hands in their pocket? Do they stand with this foot forward? And you start taking on those characteristics.
Right.
I was doubling Rutger Hauer. Told this story too.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching him, and it's okay, this and that, And so the scene came up, and they go, okay, we need Rutger. Hey, Rutger, we need you over here. Hey, Rutger, we need you over here. And they came over and they go, oh, Don. But I was standing there in such a way that they thought I was Rutger Hauer.
Mm-hmm. The performances he put on.
I know. Incredible.
Yes. Yeah. And
it's a very physical performance.
Right. And I just found out in the last couple of years that the whole monologue he does right before his character in Blade Runner shuts down or dies.
Yes, as he just starts to die.
Right.
He lets the bird go.
Right. It was apparently he wrote that as a poem himself, literally right before they were about to shoot that scene, and he came to Ridley Scott and was like, I'd like to use this in the scene. He reads it to Ridley, really goes just blown away in awe of
great.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another favorite horror villain role of Rucker's, The Hitcher.
What?
The Hitcher.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
I think that film is so well done. Eric Red, phenomenal filmmaker, and someone to have a unique tone to all his horror films.
Yeah.
Another one I'll throw out there of his, Bad Moon, one of the best, in my opinion, werewolf movies
right
to come out. But with Halloween, do you admire any of the past and future, or I guess post your performance as Michael Myers? Do you do you admire like any?
Like you said, each one brings a certain, presence to it. We were working on Married with Children, and Dick Warlock was on it, and I went over to him and I said, we played the same character. He's like,
Right.
He's like 5'7". I go, no, I did the Michael Myers. No, this is. I said, have you ever done any of the personal appearances? He goes, what do you do? I go, well, you bring pictures and you sign them, and this. Okay. Anyway, so it's like a few months after what we had done, and I had already booked an appearance, and somebody called me, and I said, well, I have someone else who might be, interested in doing it, blah, blah. So I gave him a call, and he goes, really, you're going to do this? And I go, yeah. And so the next time I saw him, he had the banners, he had the pictures, he was getting other people involved, and, I really enjoyed his performance. Nick Castle's, the first one, I enjoyed his too. I like horror films. And I think the Halloweens, the Friday the 13th, they brought a certain thing, that people still like. And that's why they keep doing more and more. But in the beginning, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They brought out King Kong, an uncut version that hadn't been out since 1939.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting there and they're showing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Hey, this is, it really got, I loved it. I didn't know anything about it. I hadn't heard anything about it. It was, just in one of these art films.
Right. Here's a question. I heard a while ago there was another interviewer. I think they were interviewing either Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig when he was taking over the role of 007. And I'm going to ask the same question, just rephrase. Instead of it being, is there a 007 club? Is there a Michael Myers club of all the actors that have played Michael Myers over the years?
Well, it's we know each other. I like all of the guys. Chris. Brad, James. Everyone brings something to it. The last three I think have been really, really good. I'd have to pick out 1 and 2, and the last 3. I think done, excellent.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to swim in the bowl with me.
Okay.
I hope the temperature was just right. We dove in head first. We came out head above water, and now we're riding the waves.
All right. Sounds great.
Thank you so much. Sam Fisch, the Fisch Bowl here at Horror Realm Con 2026 with the great and wonderfully talented Alan Howarth.
Hey, how are you? Alan Howarth here. We're at Horror Realm 2026.
2026.
And I see that the festival is growing, but not outgrowing.
Yes.
It's just really nice. It's casual. You get to spend time with the people that come, tell our stories. It's not like there's a line of 100 people that you got to blow through, and they're waiting 3 hours. So
exactly.
It's an ideal situation for what I think.
Exactly. It's a wonderful experience where we can chat about working with Carpenter and some of the amazing scores.
Absolutely.
That have been made over the years. Timeless scores. First of all, huge fan. I'm very avid. I can kind of consider myself a music aficionado. And one of the reasons I think Carpenter resonates so much with me, and I'm sure with the rest of his fans, is that he did everything.
Yeah, he was a Renaissance man.
Yes.
He's there's words for this, super talented genius, whatever you want to say. But yeah, he does everything. So for me to work with him, consider this. I'm in my studio. I had all the toys.
Mm-hmm.
So he came over to my house. He didn't want to know about the technology. I said, that's your job to keep it all running, everything in tune. I just want to play. So John's usual thing was we'd come in, sit down. In the beginning, we didn't even have videotape. We were just like stopwatching.
Right.
Eventually, I put dialogue on one track so we could hear from the dialogue where we were in the scene. But shortly after that, I got videotapes, so we could run a videotape. He called it electronic coloring book. Because from the stopwatch, they're actually watching the movie and playing to it. So that's the way it was. We improvised the whole thing. Because he wrote it, directed it, edited it, he took the first pass. So most of those classic themes are his compositions.
Awesome.
He's a great talented person. His father was actually a professor of music.
Oh, wow.
A concert violinist.
Amazing.
So he had a musical education coming up just because of his dad.
Right.
But then he had this affinity for film. So it was kind of like, hey, Dad, thanks for all the music stuff, but I want to make movies. But now it's included in his toolkit.
Right.
And he always jokes that why does he do his own music? He says, because I'm the cheapest one. But that's his excuse. He really wants to do it. And as you see now, after decades of movies, he's still making more music.
Right.
That's his outlet. He likes it because it's a smaller production. We're talking about, less than 5 to 10 people. His son Cody and his godson Daniel are the band. There's another bass player, like a 6-piece. He's been out touring, playing this music that was created for his movies. Well, I'm doing the same thing. In fact, I'll take credit for getting him off the couch and doing it. The first time it happened was in the Halloween 35 convention. They wanted me to talk about Halloween music. He says, you want to talk about how do I play it? And they go, you could do that? I go, yeah. So I set up my keyboard, my MIDI, and there was a little, somebody did on their iPhone, put it out there, and I started getting traction playing this music. I can hear Cody say, Dad, Alan's out there playing your guys' music. Why don't we do that? Well, he got serious about it. And they're out doing it now. But where I was going with this, so imagine I'm in the studio with John Carpenter. We're young guys. I'm like 31, 32. We're the same age. And I'm sitting in the room with the guy who wrote it, directed it, watching him make the music for his own movie. Talk about custom.
Right.
Crafted. So all that music, and he always felt the music. He used to refer to the music as carpeting.
Right.
It was something that the whole movie sat on and kept the mood going. And so I got it. It was like The Apprentice, right? I got to sit with him for almost 9 years on 9 movies doing that. So that's my takeaway. I get that. That's the greatest gift anybody could give to another person is teach them how you do it.
Absolutely. And talk about not just like the films being classics, but like I kind of consider the scores as like its own entity.
Well, that's what we're doing. Is we're separating the music from the movie, and just listening to music. Going, hey, that's some pretty good music.
Yeah.
And it's like I did a concert here last night, right?
Right.
And I played a medley of music cues with only the music and the image. So now you watch the movie with music only, and you see how custom the music is. But at the same time, the style of music strung together makes this incredible musical journey, going from here to here to here to here, to fight, to scare, to run, to kill, and the music that goes with this stuff. And I've kind of made it into a concert now. And so I run the track and the stuff, and then I literally improvise on top of the score, real-time extra score.
Awesome.
It's way fun.
Right. I mean, now, obviously Halloween is an infamous score and an infamous film in a Halloween tradition at this point. For me, though, I think my favorite scores would have, number one would have to be Escape from New York and Escape from LA. We talked about this yesterday, but Escape from LA was the first Carpenter movie I was old enough to go see in theaters.
Well, it's an interesting entry point.
Right. And the whole story I told yesterday about how, I was super young at the time, but I told my dad there's this movie Escape from LA coming out. He's like, no, you must mean Escape from New York. This was in the days of Blockbuster, so immediately he educated me on Escape from New York. Then we went to see LA, and then I remember I think the next one we saw after that was In the Mouth of Madness, and then Vampires. James Woods' character in that movie is fantastic. The score, though, for that film, talk about blues and guitar, but Escape from New York, and I have to throw in there Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
What an amazing score. What was like your, I guess, take and experience creating the stuff that like those memorable scores, and what kind of differentiates, I guess, the process from like horror to sci-fi to a martial arts, almost like black comedy sci-fi?
Well, all right. So the Mouth of Madness and Ghost of Mars, I wasn't part of that. So John now collaborated with Dave Davies, the guitar player from the Kinks, and now Dave Davies' son is John's godson. So they really became buddies. So he likes to collaborate with somebody and be really personal. It's not just like a doctor's office, right? We're going to get to be buddies. We're going to do stuff. We're going to share a vision. Obviously, he has the primary vision because he made it,
Right.
but he wants you to bring your stuff in. So he opened up the door for me to do that. The best score I've ever done with Carpenter was Big Trouble. A couple reasons. One, the movie itself. In a Halloween, you've got this dark, in the basement, look out for the knife, so you do Halloween. But Big Trouble had Chinese fight music. It had Pork Chop Express rock and roll. It had mysterious stuff. It had kung fu fighting. So each of those scenes asked for a different piece of music. So as the electronic music producer, because Carpenter's going to just sound and push the black and white out. He doesn't know shit about that. He doesn't even want to know shit about this. A couple times I tell him about something technical. He goes, I don't know about it. Why we? I don't care about it. We want to just show up and do this thing. So I was creating the colors, and so at that time there was another technology that was added to my synthesizer studio called MIDI. And it was called the Musical Instrument Digital Interface. So it used to be you'd have a couple of patch cables and one synthesizer to another. Now, digitally, you could hook up like 9 synthesizers at once, play one keyboard, and they all play. So now we got these what I call MIDI stacks, where each synthesizer has its element of what you're hearing. And I went from, used to be that you'd print each synthesizer on a track with a tape recorder and run out of tracks and then it's over. Well, in this case, I was now printing what we call stems. So I was taking 9 synthesizers, making them stereo with each one in its own little part in the stereo mix, and then putting reverb on it and printing the whole thing. So if you were to go back to the tapes from Big Trouble on, you'd literally put the fader straight across on the console. That's the mix.
Awesome.
So it was built custom as it went. So that technique expanded. The third part was we were supposed to get 10 weeks to do it, and there was a change in the schedule. We got an extra month.
Wow.
So when we thought we were done, I had a whole other month to go back and really produce it in the way that a record producer does for a hit. So those 3 things combined, Big Trouble is
fantastic. Big Trouble is one of my all-time favorite scores, one of my all-time favorite Carpenter films, just like you said, with the mix of rock and roll, comedy, martial arts, fighting, and mysticism and everything. Like, it's a very unique film, among Kurt Russell being in one of his best Carpenter roles.
Yeah, actually, you just remind me about the different kinds of music. That was, there's one scene where they're about to go into the fight with Lopan.
Right.
And they have the little potion they're going to drink.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready to go to battle. And there's this heroic piece that goes with that. We never did any music like that, but that movie asked for heroic music, so we dialed it up. So the music determines what the score is going to be.
Exactly. On the topic of music and being a musician, composer, what would you say your musical influences are?
Well, I'm a child of the 60s and 70s. I'll be 78 in August, so 1969 was the apex of all that stuff, but I sort of got bit by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the whole English invasion. And then later on, we got the Flower Power, and it was the Jefferson Airplane, the Quicksilver Messenger, and the Doors.
Yes.
And the American style of it. And then of my favorite bands, I was a Pink Floyd for sure.
One
Genesis. Then other Jethro Tull, and there was another one called Gentle Giant, and ELP for sure. And then Tangerine Dream, which was the other synth guys from Europe that they had all the big modulator
Blade Runner.
Things, yeah. And Vangelis, for sure.
Yes, Vangelis, right. But Tangerine Dream did Legend, though.
Right.
Legend was a great score. They did a couple other ones I remember, but I'm a big fan. I view composers as the modern day Beethovens and Wagners, and
Absolutely.
like that is the current living entity of composed music.
Yeah, right. And well, let's talk about this. So everything I did was just me and John in the studio with machines.
Mm-hmm.
However, the reason that orchestras still are active is because of film music, Hollywood
Exactly.
film music, and hiring a real orchestra to do this, which there's no question about it. Here's what happens. When me and John do it, it takes us a long time because we are the only musicians, and we keep making tracks and tracks and tracks. Whereas in an orchestra, you got 60 people, and boom, it all goes down in one shot.
Exactly.
And the musicians are interacting, and the emotions. It's a powerful tool of real music. So yes, for sure, John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith, Danny Elfman, James Hohner,
Alan Silvestri,
and then prior to that, Bernard Herrmann and Korngold and these guys were before them. They used orchestras for a purpose, being the movie.
Exactly.
Consider this though, in the Renaissance, what was the purpose? You either wrote music for the king or for the church.
Exactly.
So that was your purpose. So these symphonies, these great symphonies by the composers, a lot of times they were making music for God.
Right.
And they rose to the occasion. They did. It's great music.
Exactly. And
so in some ways, their movie was talking to God. Now you put movie in front and say, we're doing other stuff too.
Right.
Yeah.
And on the topic of some of the bands you mentioned, I have to get your opinion on, I guess he's considered now the Mozart of rock and roll. Don't go where the Huskies go. Don't you eat that yellow snow. The famous, infamous Frank Zappa.
Yeah, well, actually, I have a Frank Zappa story if you want.
Yeah.
All right, so I was working for this jazz band, Weather Report, and I was the setup guy for Joe's Avenue. So I was like the butler. I had like all these synthesizers. I'd be set up and get them all in tune, and then we do a show. Well, one of the road guys worked for Frank too, and so there was a time when I was considered possibly moving from Weather Report to working for Frank. So I walk into Frank's studio, and they had just put this EMU big modular synthesizer just got delivered, and it wasn't dialed in yet. So Frank goes, all right, show me something.
Oh, wow.
So I'm there, and I'm dialing up some sound, and I get something going. But because I had no reference, the way I set the oscillators, they were like 2 octaves too high. So it sounded good down here, but over here it was really too high. So Frank walks up to the machine to hear what I did, right? And he looks at me and goes, not bad for parakeet music. He was so quick.
Wow.
And witty. And he didn't need to get high. He was already there. There was a great picture of Frank Zappa in his yearbook from Toronto. He graduated from there.
Right.
And in the picture, his instrument is the bicycle wheel.
Yeah, I just saw it was on some
and
talk
he was
show.
serious. He tuned the spikes. And he played it like a harp.
Yeah.
That's how talk about esoteric.
Right.
He was so out.
I just saw it was either on Facebook or Instagram. His appearance on, I forget what talk show it was, but him actually showing and how he could make the bicycle into a musical instrument. The guy was so ahead of his time, not just with music, philosophically, politically, like everything. He's one of my heroes.
And to work with him was not a piece of cake. He was tough on everybody.
Yeah.
But hey, you just got hired to do that. I remember it was rehearsal when they were using all the people that eventually became missing persons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was Terry Bozzio and Tommy Mars was the keyboard player. And Frank puts this piece of music down in front of him to play. Tommy goes, Frank, that's really hard music. He says, well, that's your job. I made this for you to play. Learn it.
Right.
Yeah, don't give me a...
I look forward to every single time a new live album of his comes out. I just in time for Halloween this past year I think it was 76 or 77. 4-disc set came out, phenomenal. One of my top favorite artists of all time. But Alan, a huge fan of yours as well.
I have another short story you'll like this one. So I also worked with George Duke.
Yes.
All right. And so in the 90s, I was pioneering multi-channel audio. So what is now Dolby Atmos?
Mm-hmm.
I was already doing that like 15 years before.
Oh,
for theme parks.
Right.
And so we were demoing it. So I was going to show it to George Duke because he was a subset of Frank, and I thought I'd find my way to get Frank to come if I got George excited.
Right.
And so I showed George this thing. It was amazing. It is amazing. The idea was we'd put a speaker like pixels across the whole room, and you would paint across a soundscape of speakers. So there was no more left and right.
Right.
All they were in directions, and also the reflections, a sound we hear, but you'd reflect it off the wall back here. So it was spatially correct. Way cool. Ultimate sound design tool. But so I showed this to Frank, to George. He goes, "Oh yeah, Frank was doing something like this." This is what you're saying. Well, Frank wanted to be in spatialized sound, so he had these hoops that the musicians would play in, and there would be 6 microphones on the ring, and the sax player was intended to play to different microphones so he could steer the music.
Oh wow, amazing!
So each musician became his own spatial mixer as part of performance art. This is the guy. Genius.
Yeah, amazing.
And always experimenting. Always
right.
Whatever we got. Well, there's got to be more. Let's keep looking.
Right. Oh my God, I wish we could talk like literally all day. I'm gonna have to have you come back, take another swim in the bowl.
We can always do a Zoom or something.
We'll definitely have to.
I got lots of stories. A friend of mine, Mike Atkins, says, "Here's the way it goes, Alan." He says, "Details tell, but stories sell."
Exactly. And
people want to hear the story behind that Prophet 5 synthesizer, the day we used the tape recorder, the day I was recording underwater for Hunts for Red October, and instead of using hydrophones, I used my expensive studio mics, and they put condoms on them to put them in the water. There's stories. We'll talk about
it. Awesome. I cannot wait. Zoom sounds great. I will definitely be in touch. This is exactly what I love to have. Stories from multiple different aspects, not just the film side, but the music side.
And exactly what you're talking about. The different perspectives.
Yes.
5 of us see a car accident, we all saw something different.
Exactly.
Same accident.
And just that.
It's our interpretation.
Exactly.
It's our personal lens.
Right.
How we look at life.
Right.
And people want to share that.
Exactly. And I just, again, think film and music go hand in hand, along with incorporating every aspect of the arts into making a film.
I have a short. So the simplest definition of art. Art is a communication.
Yes.
And now, as an artist, you choose your media.
Yes.
You're making your art with images or sound or music or dance or poems or visual effects. Movies do all that at once.
Exactly.
And that's why movies are so powerful, that they pull from all these other media, have hundreds of people work on it for thousands of hours, and it's like the finest whiskey.
Exactly.
It's all distilled to just...
Exactly. That's where Carpenter comes in, and collaborations and everything you've worked on.
And you touched on this. So the expertise of John Carpenter is to tell a story.
Yes.
Utilizing all those media and having personal expertise in a lot of them to integrate.
Exactly.
And that's why we're still talking about it 30 years later.
Exactly.
Years later, 50 years later.
Master filmmaking, master music making. Alan, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
Swimming in the bowl with me. I hope the temperature was just right.
My snorkel was just long enough.
Where we made it, we dove in head first. We rode the waves and we're above water.
All right, we'll hit the showers.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Greg.
Absolutely.
Later.
Hey there, all my fishes in the sea. Thanks for tuning into today's episode and for being a subscriber. Your continued listenership and support means the most and helps keep the show growing to deeper and deeper depths. I want to let all my guppies in the sea know the Fisch Bowl has now officially partnered with FastCustomShirts.com, where they're now selling custom Fisch Bowl t-shirts under their podcast and website section. Every t-shirt that's purchased helps and goes a long way to keep the show growing to deeper and deeper and higher depths. I also now have custom hats, beanies, handbags, pens, mouse pads, everything to make you look like the coolest looking fish in the sea, which you can DM me directly on Instagram at the Fisch Bowl 88 or on Facebook at just the Fisch Bowl, or you can friend request me, Sam Fish, directly and get yours today. Your continued listenership and support again means the most. It's the most important fishes that flock together. We are a school of fish and we keep the unit going. Let's all keep swimming upstream.